So today we wanted to go on more so the attack angle, because that's another way that maybe some products or some clubs will stand out.
Definitely.
We'll start with kind of a steep attack angle, and I wanted to first to just get your thoughts on like what would be considered in terms of whether it's a driver or whether it's irons, like a steep attack angle. Like how far down on the ball would you be like, okay, this person's hitting steep on it?
Yeah. I mean, driver, anything down 2 or more, I would say is pretty steep for a driver.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want to be hitting up on that if possible. Take the spin off. Irons, I would say when I see maybe 5 to 6 or more consistently, I'd consider that pretty steep.
Okay.
When you get to the double digits is when it's honestly a little bit impressive that's being able to be accomplished.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we're talking irons for if we're fitting a steep attack angle on irons, 5, 6, 7 down, loft is going to be your friend there.
Right. Yeah. So with that said, a lot of golfers probably don't have like a launch monitor to know exactly what their attack angle is. But more or less, if you feel like you're taking a pretty large divot with even like a mid iron, you're probably quote unquote you have a steep attack angle. And so, or if maybe you notice your driver ball flight is kind of that low, almost riser that seems to spin some. That's probably also as a result of a steep attack angle. So let's dive into what we're going to do is go kind of club by club category. And just if you have some golf clubs, some models that have stood out for a steep attack angle. So I want to start at the top of the bag with driver. If you've noticed any of the new models this year that just seem to work really well for players that swing down on the driver.
Yeah. Well, the G440 LST has been really great for me in the fitting bay. For anybody that's down more than 2 degrees on the driver, just kind of keeping that spin lower and then consistent, depending upon where they're hitting on that impact location on the face, can really add even more spin if we're a little heel side. But that 440 LST has been good, kind of really wherever it's hit on the face, just a little more consistent, less movement, typically out to the right. So. That as well as TaylorMade drivers have always historically been pretty hot off the top of the face, which if we're, attacking down at that typical strike location is usually going to be a little on that, like above the equator, if you would. So the QI35 Max has been pretty good for me as well on that driver side of things.
Interesting. Is that the TaylorMade side of it? Is that because of the carbon, or is that just something that you've noticed even before with maybe some of the older models like the M family or Sim or anything like that? Or maybe it is just as a result of the carbon material?
I think it's kind of a combination of the carbon, and then they have a slightly different, CG placement to some of the other manufacturers. So that might, play a factor into it. But I had a high-speed player in yesterday who was down a couple, and he brought in his original Sim, and he hit both of his furthest balls with that.
Okay.
Granted, we got him hitting it in a lot tighter dispersion circle, losing maybe 2 yards. But, yeah, I mean, TaylorMade drivers, for whatever reason, have been very hot off the top of the face. So.
Okay, interesting. I hadn't considered, how maybe some manufacturers have different hot spots potentially on their driver faces. But, I wanted to move on to, I'm going to give you the option to throw in a mini driver as well, if there is one. Otherwise, we can go to the Fairwood category as well, if there is any model in either of those categories that's been working for a steep swinger.
100%. I'll attack the mini driver section because I actually recently just put one in the bag.
Okay, perfect.
3-wood wasn't working the best for me and just more so needed an off the tee club. But not to hammer home the same nail, but the R7 quad has been pretty good for a little bit steeper angle of attack. Same reason. Yeah, it's just if you hit it a little high on the face, it's just fine. Hasn't been spinning too high. Granted, a mini driver typically we want a little bit more spin, you know, that aspect of control. But, putting a couple weights, their heavier 13-gram weights forward really has helped anybody who's, down a couple or more with the mini driver, just keeping it in play, right? That's the whole goal of the mini driver. Yeah,
that's really cool that the R7 has, the whole key technology of like the R7 quad from how long ago was 4 weight ports.
Yes.
and they kept it in this mini driver and kind of modernized it.
Yep.
You know, made it sleek for 2025, and it's working really well. I remember Jake telling the story about how he had someone that was swinging their driver, you know, 130, 140 miles an hour, and he actually took 4 13-gram weights and put them in that to make it super heavy, 7-wood shaft. And that was what fit this player as with the crazy speed that they had.
No kidding.
But the versatility that even offers you to even make that as an option is super nice, I'm sure, for you guys as fitters. In addition to adjustable hosel and all the different lofts you can use with the R7 too, or for players that might need a little bit of loft.
Exactly right. I mean, for me, the more weight you can adjust and move, the easier it makes to kind of fit that club to somebody, right?
Yeah.
You can put a heavy one in the toe, keep both 13s out on the toe if they, slamming that face shut, whatever it might be. So just adds more versatility, makes it easier for more people to fit into that, if you would.